Hi, welcome to ECHL Week. Glad to have you with us as we have a lot of good stories for you today, including a chat with the ECHL All-Star coaches who are looking forward to coaching that game next week in Colorado. We've got a couple of featured games we're going to look at, including one with the top team in the league so far this season. We have a story about a player who's leaving the ECHL to answer a higher calling, and there's been an Elvis sighting at an ECHL arena. We'll have the video evidence a little later on. But first, time for the top story. The NHL lockout is over. A 10-year agreement between the NHL and the Players Association brings relative peace to Major League Hockey. But what about the effects on the ECHL? Every team in the league so far has lost players, many players, to AHL or NHL training camps at this point. It's going to take a while, once the season starts for the NHL on January 19th, for those players to trickle back to the AHL or ECHL levels. At that point, things will start to normalize again. ECHL coaches have had a difficult time keeping full rosters during this transitional period. But I talked to South Carolina Stingrays head coach Spencer Carberry, and I think he echoed the sentiments of a lot of other coaches throughout the league.
With the NHL and the NHLPA reaching an agreement and the NHL being back on, you've seen the last week it's been quite hectic in terms of the player movement and guys moving up, especially with NHL training camps opening up and NHL teams wanting a few extra bodies up there for camps. So it's going to be interesting. I think more so than any year I've been a part of this league. I wasn't involved with the league in the last lockout, but I think there's going to be some drastic changes in terms of what teams can recover from it, what teams can have different guys step up and play bigger roles, and you could see some teams that maybe didn't get the results or weren't a real elite team in the first half of the year, now all of a sudden change, and it's like, wow, where did that team come from?
We've talked a lot about the All-Star game, the players who have been named, the starters, the reserves over the last week or two, but we haven't talked a lot about the team the All-Stars will be playing. That's the Colorado Eagles. On the surface, the Eagles look like a mediocre team. They're in third place in the Mountain Division and just a couple games over 500. But Colorado lost the league's top two scorers, Chad Costello and Jack Combs, to the AHL last month, and they still managed to keep the ship headed in the right direction. There are some stats about this team that do stand out. One of them is that their 31 points at home is just 3 off the pace set by league-leading Alaska. The Eagles are averaging nearly 5 goals a game at home. They also lead the Mountain Division in penalty minutes. Their power play is tops in the league at home, and they just had a 9-game home winning streak stopped last weekend by Stockton. Also, don't discount the fact that in their season and a half in the ECHL, the Eagles have never had an unsold seat in the Budweiser Events Center. Those filled seats translate to rabid fans who would like nothing more than to see their heroes get the better of the best players from around the remainder of the league. In short, Colorado figures to be a formidable opponent against an all-star team which, while talented, is still a group of players cobbled together for just one game. This doesn't figure to be your average all-star game. Probably one of the most disappointing aspects of this game for Colorado is that their captain, Riley Nelson, won't be able to play. A season-ending shoulder injury means he won't be on the ice for the All-Star game, but he is staying with the team for the rest of the season. Nelson is the club's all-time leader in just about every offensive category and is the only player to have played during each of the Eagles' 10 seasons. He had 14 points through the first 26 games this season while dealing with his bad shoulder. The third captain in club history has registered 758 points in 590 games with Colorado. Good news for hockey fans who won't be able to be in Loveland, Colorado on January 23rd for the All-Star Game. It'll be on television. Here's a list of the networks and times where the game will be made available. Starting today, we're going to add a featured game every week, so now we'll have two, one from the Eastern Conference, one from the Western Conference. That way, we can see more teams in every show. Let's look at the Western Conference game today, a recent match between the Alaska Aces, the top team in the league so far this season, and the Stockton Thunder. Mike Benton gives us the details.
Gerald Coleman, a good stop, closing off the glove side post on Matt Berglund. Now we get a scrap. Back in the Thunder zone, and Garrett Hunt trading punches here with Dustin Molly. And are they ever furious? Molly coming out with several rights. Hunt responding with several left-hand jabs. Got Molly into the back and tries to tear his helmet off. Molly's helmet is gone. As Molly comes right back, his right cross blocked by Hunt. And now Hunt trying to grab onto the shoulders of Molly and neutralize him against the glass. Hunt comes right back with a left-hand swing. Molly with one more jab, but cut Hunt on the arm, and the official to break it up. No question, this was the ploy the Thunder were trying to utilize here early on. Get this crowd into it. Now it's Hunt left side. Ahead for Ryan Martindale, bumped by Chris Claxton. No penalty here, and the Thunder bench is furious as now Claxton into it with Garrett Hunt right back at the Alaska bench. And the two meet again after dropping the mitts on December 22nd. And no question, this in retaliation by Garrett Hunt following the hit along the bench. Right now, Hunt and Claxton locked up right now, gripping each other's jersey. Claxton about a few muffins into Hunt at the left shoulder, nothing doing there. Oh my, Hunt came right back in with a sharp uppercut on Claxton. Nailed him right in the chest. And the two players tied up at the benches with 7:05 to go. Play by Reichard behind the net, gave it away, and a shot in front, they score! A giveaway at the right circle and to the wrong guy. Joey Crabb picked it off and bombs it home over a sprawling Reichard with 2:16 to go. William Wren, Anchorage product into the offensive zone. Pass in front to Dubinsky, save made by Reichard. Rebound to Imbo, stuffs it in front, save, rebound, Gomez scores. Scott Gomez at the right goal post, slips it right past the glove side of Cody Reichard off a redirection. Martindale drops it to Raiola at the high slot. Raiola, wrist shot, save, rebound, Martindale, second chance, he scores! Ryan Martindale finally on the board with 8:03 to play in the third period. 17 seconds left. Here's Reber in the slot, taken away. Bobby Hughes clears. On the chase, into the zone. Joey Crabb shoots, score. That'll wrap it up.
Still ahead, a closer look at the man behind the best team in the league at the halfway point of the season. A featured game from the Eastern Conference with two North Division rivals battling one another. And one ECHL team's loss is the United States Army's gain. That's all to come on ECHL Week.
The Colorado Eagles and the City of Loveland are proud to play host to the 2013 ECHL All-Star Game, presented by University of Colorado Health on Wednesday, January 23rd. Come see the league's biggest stars take on the Colorado Eagles at the Budweiser Event Center in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. For information on tickets to all CCM All-Star Week festivities, as well as lodging and everything you love in Loveland, visit ECHLAllStarClassic.com.
The Alaska Aces have led the Western Conference standings for most of the season. Same for Reading over the Eastern Conference. As a result, the coaches of those two teams, Rob Murray and Larry Corville, have been selected to coach the All-Star Game. We caught up with both of those men recently, and here's what they had to say about the honor of being selected to coach the All-Stars.
I'm honored to do that, and I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to do that. I had the opportunity in the American League as an assistant coach 1 year in Binghamton, and you know, it's always nice to get recognized in one way or the other. And you know, obviously it's not my coaching, it's my players that have got me there, and so you know, I thank them for the job that they've done for me so far this season.
Well, I owe a lot of credit to, of course, the players that are in the locker room. My assistant coach has definitely done a great job for us. You know, the Washington Capitals, Hershey Bears have given us some great players, and the guys have worked extremely hard, and I'm getting rewarded because of it, so I'm appreciative of it.
You've spent a significant time in the NHL as well. How does that translate into your coaching?
Well, you know, when I stepped out of playing there, and I got an assistant job right away in Providence, and you know, I was lucky enough to work with Scott Gordon for 5 years, who I learned immensely about. You know, coming out of my last year pro, I think everybody thinks they can coach, but you don't know what it takes to coach, and he really helped me along, and I learned so much from him. And from that, I think, you know, I've kind of grown my coaching roots, and you know, I've expanded. I just, you know, maybe I got a good eye for the game. I think, you know, when I was a player, coaches that I played for felt I saw the game very well, and so you know, it's one thing that even when I was a player, a young player, it was something that I always expected, that when I finished my career, I'd become a coach, and I love it.
Rob's an old friend of mine. I play with Rob. You know, of course, I've dealt with Rob the last few years with our affiliation with Boston, and you know, I'm excited to actually coach with him.
As you approach the All-Star Game, how will the mindset be? Is it just for the fun of it, or are you out to rip their throats out?
Well, usually it's just for the fun of it, but I've heard some rumors that the Colorado team a couple of years ago in the Central League, they hosted the game then, and they played it for real. So we're going to have to see. I'm going to have to pull Stewie aside and see how they're going to play it, because you know how All-Star games is. It's just a shinny game for the most part, and so we'll see. We'll have to prepare for what they might bring on that evening.
There's a good reason that Rob Murray is coaching the All-Star team. His Alaska Aces have won 30 of their first 40 games this season. That's no mean feat. They haven't even allowed 100 goals yet, and they just had a 13-game point streak stopped. Our J.R. Ybarra recently spoke with Rob, and he talked about the season so far, coaching the Aces, and what his future career might hold.
We started off the year, you know, even with the NHL players on the team. I mean, it takes a team a while to get to gel and find some consistency. And I think that last little while, you know, we've really been on a run and playing some really good hockey. And I think everybody's kind of, again, gelled together, and it's been a good first half of the season, that's for sure.
How do you think the players respond to you, knowing that you have that experience behind you?
Well, you know, I think at this level it's maybe a little bit different, because there's a lot of guys that they find themselves in the East Coast League, and it's probably the last place that they thought they'd be in, and they quickly find out that it's a very good league and it's very competitive, and you know, I think that maybe you know, my history, my resume might help me in a little bit with the younger guys, but I think the older guys take to me well too, and I think I treat them well, and I'm respectful of them, and basically demand, you know, that they work hard for me, and I think they respect that out of me, you know, I try to, obviously as a coach, there's that fine line between friend and coach, but there's also that human being in a coach that you have to, you know, the softer side that you have to show on occasion.
With obviously a lot of these players trying to get to the NHL level, is that your goal yourself, to get to the coaching aspect in the NHL?
Yeah, you know what, I would say so, yes. I mean, you know, nobody's in this game for not to move up in ranks, and you know, when I wasn't retained in Providence after my last year there, I was there for 8 years. You know, had the opportunity to go to Alaska, and you know, maybe it was as far as level of play, it's a step back, but hopefully it's a step back to move forward again, and you know, kind of launch my coaching career again. But as I said, I think, you know, anybody that's in this game is looking to get to the highest level they can, and obviously that's the NHL.
Coming up, our second featured game, this one from the Eastern Conference. And you might not have known that a Ranger has been playing in the ECHL this season. And we don't mean a New York Ranger. Still ahead on ECHL Week.
From opening night until the Kelly Cup is raised, watch every game of the 2012-13 ECHL season exclusively on AmericaOneSports.com. Catch the action live or on demand. Games available on your PC, Mac, or mobile device. The biggest goals, hardest hits, and spectacular saves all season long can be found only at AmericaOneSports.com, the official broadband broadcaster to the ECHL.
The Colorado Eagles and the City of Loveland are proud to play host to the 2013 ECHL All-Star Game, presented by University of Colorado Health on Wednesday, January 23rd. Come see the league's biggest stars take on the Colorado Eagles at the Budweiser Event Center in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. For information on tickets to all CCM All-Star Week festivities, as well as lodging and everything you love in Loveland, visit ECHLAllStarClassic.com.
For most of this season in the North Division, Cincinnati and Toledo have been setting the pace. But in the last few weeks, Fort Wayne slowly but surely has been catching up on those two leaders, and now they're threatening to make that North Division title race a three-team affair. Fort Wayne recently visited Cincinnati. That's our Eastern Conference featured game of the week. Nick Brunker gives us the highlights.
As a cross-ice pass goes in onside, to the middle of the slot it goes. Wilson strips to the puck, deking in, shooting, he scores! Let the bird fly! It's 1-0 Cincinnati, and the donations from the thousands on hand are here and ready. On the third shot of the game, Cincinnati buries one and strikes first again. Foster comes out of his net to play it. He'll try to lift it. Turned over in the slot, and a big miscue will turn the puck into the Cincinnati net, and Fort Wayne gets a lucky bounce and has tied this game up at 1. A band over the line. Right circle. Sent down below the goal line again, and then reversed out to the point. O'Hanley dishes it off to Pelech. Pelech almost lost the handle, but got it back, passing to Aban. Through the middle, shot, they score! Taylor Ellington, power play goal! Pass backdoor, Pelech to Aban, and right along the goal line to the streaking and pinching Taylor Ellington. His first goal as a Cyclone comes at 18:22. At center ice, it's grabbed back by Echl. Slides it over to Butler. The defenseman for Fort Wayne advancing it across the ice, but knocked away as the Cyclones have it. Here's a chance for Pecan. Skating in right circle. He shoots and scores! Wrist shot, beating Ryder. It's 3-1. Behind the net in the Cincinnati zone, McDonald will try to reverse it, fanned on it slightly, allowing Elkins to continue putting pressure on. A big hit, jars the puck to the circle, a turnaround try, deflected in on net, and they score! Somehow it beats Foster through the legs, as Dan Eves was camped out in front as well. bounces to the line, held nicely there by O'Hanley. But on the second effort, it comes out to center, and here's a breakaway for Schaus. Coming down the slot, he shoots and scores. A shorthanded goal for the Comets has tied this game up at 3. More shots than the Cyclones tonight. They have had 25. Another one comes in, denied. Another try, and they score off the bar. A second effort came back to the Fort Wayne Comet, who was stationed in the middle area of the right circle, and a bar down shot beats Foster. But Risk will get it into the circle on a pass, and a shot is denied on the pad by Foster. Back out to Risk again. Risk out to the point. Shot by Charlotte goes up in the air and then into the net. It gets blocked into the air by Furman, and somehow it snuck past Foster. But now it's exactly 6 minutes to go. Ellington fakes the shot, now sends one in, save. Pellick tries to tuck one in, and he does! He scores! Cincinnati has cut the deficit to 1. They're going to try to get it with 8 seconds left. It's still loose at the point. O'Hanley fires, and it misses the net. 4 seconds to go. Turnaround shot deflected wide, and that is that. A close call at the end, and now at the horn, we got ourselves a brawl. Everybody going to get a body in front of the net as bodies are throwing down in front of the Fort Wayne cage. Pellick started the melee with a quick shove of his counterpart, as everybody seemingly has a partner down there and are going to have cooler heads prevail.
Back to the All-Star game for a bit. We've talked about the teams and coaches, but there are a few other important folks who have been assigned All-Star duty this year for the game on January 23rd. Referee Tom Chmielewski is in his second season in the ECHL, and last year was selected to work in the conference finals of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Prior to joining the ECHL, the 25-year-old spent 4 years in the USA Hockey Officiating Development Program. Referee J.M. McNulty is in his 4th season as a referee in the ECHL. He was selected for USA Hockey's regional camp in 2005, the national camp in 2006, and Camp of Merit in 2007. This is Mike Sheehan's 3rd season working as a linesman in the ECHL. Prior to joining the ECHL in 2010, he spent 2 seasons as a member of the USA Hockey Officials Development Program. The 27-year-old from Lafayette, Colorado, is also working his 3rd season as a linesman in the American Hockey League. Francis Trempe is in his 3rd season in the ECHL. He was selected to work the conference finals of the Kelly Cup playoffs in both 2011 and 2012, and was one of 5 linesmen to work in the 2012 Kelly Cup finals. Toledo's Brad Frederick will be the athletic trainer for the All-Stars. He's in his 4th season with the Toledo Walleye after serving the same role with the Toledo Storm for 3 seasons. And the All-Stars equipment manager is Mike Burkhead, now in his 5th season with the Alaska Aces. He's also worked for the ECHL's Columbia Inferno and Bridgeport of the AHL. Up next, one day the ECHL, next day Ranger and Airborne School. That story, plus Elvis, shows up at a hockey game. ECHL Week continues.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
The Colorado Eagles and the City of Loveland are proud to play host to the 2013 ECHL All-Star Game, presented by University of Colorado Health on Wednesday, January 23rd. Come see the league's biggest stars take on the Colorado Eagles at the Budweiser Event Center in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. For information on tickets to all CCM All-Star Week festivities, as well as lodging and everything you love in Loveland, visit ECHLAllStarClassic.com.
Now that the NHL lockout has ended, ECHL teams have lost players to the AHL and the NHL for any number of reasons. But the Trenton Titans have lost a player to the United States Army. Marcel Alvarez, a defenseman who was captain at West Point in his senior year last season, played a few games in the spring on a tryout basis with Trenton. They liked what they saw, and Marcel has come back to play this year. At least he did for 15 games until he got the call, and now he's heading to Ranger and Airborne School in Fort Benning, Georgia.
This has got to be like my third or fourth time going through this, so it's starting to wear on me. I was pretty emotional last Sunday, but today it was emotional, but at the same time, it's time for me to move on. It's a tough feeling, especially when I think people were a little surprised that I could actually play at this level or maybe move up a level if given the opportunity. But I have my commitment and I have to honor that.
He did everything we asked him to do for a guy that didn't have an opportunity to practice a lot. Good pro, great, outstanding character, good human being. It was great. He's going to be missing the locker room, his presence, but you know, for what your expectation level of a guy, I mean, we put a lot more responsibility. I mean, look at him tonight. You know, he's up there. He's one of our more solid defensemen the last few games, and was a plus player up to a couple of games. But he just works because he works, keeps it simple. So I mean, he's a good human. I mean, we might see him down the road here, but you know, we'd have him back in a heartbeat.
I met a lot of great people down here. Starting with the players, I had a couple weeks with some great guys, and they all got called up, which is awesome for them. Got to meet a couple new faces this week, and just the whole organization. I've met so many great people, and there's so many memories I don't know where to start. I fly back, report to Fort Benning, and then go through 4 months of my infantry basic officer course, and then I start Ranger at the end of May. Depending on how I do there, I could be out in 60 days, it could be out in 90, it could take me 120 days. That's really up to me and how I perform there. And obviously I need a little bit of luck to get through that. And following that, I have Airborne School, and when that's all done, I'll head to Fort Lewis, Washington. And I'll be assigned to a unit, and off I go. Even when I'm down in Georgia, I'll still follow these guys. Who knows, maybe I'll be an emergency call-up for a weekend. You know, in case Vince is down in Orlando or South Carolina and the team needs a D-man, they might give me a call. You never know. You might see me again.
On an emergency basis.
Pull him out of the woods and see if we can parachute him in.
You know, being in the military, it's so comparable with sports because you're on the team. And being in this setting, it's awesome, the friends I've made, and I really wish I could keep playing with these guys, but beyond playing hockey, I'll maintain my friendships with all the guys in the room.
There's been an Elvis sighting. People see Elvis all the time, but the King has shown up at an ECHL game. He was at the arena at Gwinnett Center not too long ago, and here's the proof.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I'm itching like a man on a fuzzy tree. My friends say I'm acting why there's a bug. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. When she touched my hand, and what a chill I got. Her lips are like a volcano that's hot. I'm proud to say that she's my buttercup. I'm in love. I'm all shook up. Yeah. I'm all shook up.
Thank you. Thank you very much for watching ECHL Week. In our next show in 2 weeks, it'll be devoted exclusively to the ECHL All-Star Game and the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. We hope you look for it the first weekend of February. Until then, make it a good week. Make it an ECHL Week.